Though I can't quite recall overnight sensation.
Welcome to the Chop. This episode we got a lot to discuss. The review during the live stream was 1 hour and a half long, so I really did my best to compress everything as best as I could. But as usual, I added chapters to the video, so feel free to skip to the section that interests you the most. Now, before we begin, there have been some comments on the previous episode of The Chop that noticed that my tone was a little bit pointed. I appreciate the feedback. You know, I always appreciate the feedback, especially when people kind of take the time to sit there and write what they think and why they think something. Unfortunately, every once in a while there is some asshole that comes and starts making assumption, pushing narrative, and, you know, being a complete asshole all the way. Now, you have to understand one thing. Doing this show takes about 30 hours every week of our time, and it's our free time. It's not like work time. If you checked with the views that we actually get, we don't earn much at all. I mean, but the point is, we do this show because we like doing it. This is a hobby. I cannot really come on stream or come during the episode and put on a face for doing the show. I'm sorry that I won't be polite 100% of the time. If I am pissed, I am pissed. If it's a problem for any of you, you are not forced to watch. There are many reviews everywhere. Live your life, I live mine. There is no problem whatsoever. But no, I'm not going to kind of put on a face for doing this show. It will ruin everything. It will ruin the spirit of it. So it comes as it comes. Now that we have said that, 1 hour ago, Lady Bunny came on Twitter. And she tweeted this. Oh, Bunny. We love you, Bunny. Sometimes you have queens that have been on the show that have been doing drag for like 13 months and people go with like, oh my god, she is such a legend. No, this is a legend. Look at the screen. This is a legend. Let's start with our predictions, shall we? Because our prediction was wait for Tina, because Tina is going to have a conflict with Elliott, and it was absolutely spot on, wasn't it? I mean, not only they made up all their differences, in this episode they also French kiss each other. Okay, so we start the episode with the girls coming back to the workroom. Olivia was just declared the winner, and of course it's time for a little bit of bitch face. This time is a throuple bitch face, a three-way bitch face. We have Elliott, we have Denali, and we have Utica.
Congratulations, Miss Olivia.
Thank you, my loves. I've been safe a lot, so it's been good to finally get a top tier moment. It's just surreal.
When I'm watching this, I'm kind of thinking, what the hell is going to go on this episode? Because these three people have no business bitch facing Olivia. I mean, Denali maybe a little bit because she did really good in the challenge, but she didn't win. But what about Elliott and Utica? What the hell are they doing there? Well, this is foreshadowing. The conflict between Utica and Olivia is carried on throughout the whole episode. But first, the library is back. Oh my god, the library is back! Do you remember FabFitFun? You should read all your fellow contestants with this fabulous box of turds that smells like flowers, and oh dear god, it was awful. So we have the library back, thank god. This is a staple of Drag Race. How the hell did they think that they could get rid of the library? It's really beyond me. The only problem that I have with this is that usually we have the library with Snatch Game. So why do we have the library on? They probably thought, wait a moment, if we have 10 queens, it's a total of 90 reads. Maybe we'll get some good ones. and it was not that good. I appreciated some reads from Gottmik, from Denali, but then again, when Elliott started reading, the background music completely stopped. It was like, we are going to stop the music so that you can hear the crickets.
Here's a cape. Now you can be super mad and fly the hell out of here, girl. Gottmik, you are so known for your mug, sis.
I'm not very satisfied with this library session, most of all because we were shown 20 reads out of 90. It's like 25%. 1 out of 4. It was really too little. So Gottmik wins. Of course, we didn't have a mini advertisement because we had the library, but we had some kind of advertisement anyway because she wins like $2,500. She got a $2,500 something. And we have Asia O'Hara as the face of this company. So, you know, just for this time, I'm not going to complain so much. Let's shut the fuck up and give Asia a little bit of exposure because she deserved every little bit of it. Now, this episode, the main challenge is improv. RuPaul decides to assign the roles randomly. Then she suddenly realized that she doesn't know what random means and she goes like, okay, let's do it from left to right. For this challenge, they will not have a script. Of course, we took a little bit of a closer look at whatever they were given, and it's not really a script. It looks like it's a characterization. The problem is that even though it's supposed to be improv, there are some things during the challenge that you start really thinking, wait a moment, this joke must have been a setup. Otherwise, how would they synchronize with Ross and all of these jokes? So unfortunately, we don't know exactly what was written in there, aside from the characterization. Then the groups will have to assign the roles for each queen individually. So we have this moment with Utica and Olivia, and this moment was kind of surreal, because we know that Olivia cannot really act. So she's really like pushing for this role of the mime because she's clearly playing to her strength. But at some point you even see Gottmik that she's like, she understands what's going on, and it's like, okay, let's throw kind of Utica under the bus, because the role that Utica gets in the end, it looks like it was not even written or characterized properly. Nobody wants that role.
I'm really feeling Cheryl.
It's all about
It's
physical comedy.
a risk, but I think I'm like totally up for the risk. I'd rather play into the strengths on the team rather than like
I agree.
picking and choosing.
I also think that you could kill both.
Next couple, and it's Symone and Kandy, and this is a very important scene because you can see Symone complaining that Kandy is not bringing her character to 100. She is too quiet. She needs to be over the top.
I feel like you are being very quiet. I think we need to be very much the characters, but like over the top.
I think I can do something like that.
This week, acting challenge. What does it mean? It means that we have no idea of what really happens on set. They can cut and paste whatever they want. You're not responding fast enough, you're not being quick enough, they can cut whatever is in between, make you look like you are really quick. There is absolutely no way to know what really went on during this challenge. So as usual, we'll have to get creative with it. One of the things that I noticed the most were the cutaways to the queens that basically set the mood for the way we, the public, are supposed to take this challenge. They tell us if we need to laugh. They tell us if we need to complain. It was really, really intrusive, like way, way over the top. In addition to that, Denali went live on Instagram.
A lot of the reactions that we had in the workroom were not the reactions that we actually had to watching them. Yeah, so that was interesting. Basically, some that did really well, I recall not reacting so positively to. And then the edit, we were reacting positively to, so.
I don't remember laughing at that specific queen that was on the top. So you know who was on the top, make your math, and you can understand who she was referring to. I thought it was really gaggy. So, first up is Rosé, Denali, and Lala. This is the moment where I was actually getting the life, especially from Rosé and Denali. They worked incredible together. They were like back and forth. They were unstoppable. They were fun. They were over the top. They were exactly the way an improv challenge of RuPaul's Drag Race is supposed to be. Remember, over the seasons, time and time again, we've been told you need to bring more. You need to be over the top. This is not theater. This is RuPaul's Drag Race. You need to be stupid. Don't be afraid to make a fool of yourself. Lala, she didn't do that well. You can see that she was a little bit uncomfortable from what we were shown, but I laughed so hard when she made that joke about having a fucking Caucasian belly. It was, you know.
Baby, you see that? Oh no! It's not my skin color, but it's a baby bump.
This is the way people are supposed to joke about this. You know, it's funny, it's stupid, it's not offensive. It was really incredible. Only for that, she should not have been in the bottom for me. That joke was everything. All in all, this part of the challenge was really good. The problem is when the next sketch comes in and it's Gottmik, Olivia, and Utica. Gottmik plays a television psychiatrist, and as you know, every television psychiatrist are basically full of shit. She's being kind of low-key, kind of a little bit shady, she plays it up in a very smart way. And you can say, oh, you're saying this because you're biased toward Gottmik. Yes, it's true. I am biased toward Gottmik, but at least you know that. I appreciated her character. Did she do a great job? Absolutely not, but she did a good job. She didn't fall in the background. She did her part. Now, Olivia received a ton of appreciation for her portrayal of the mime. I liked it. It wasn't bad. I wouldn't define it hilariously excellent, but it was really good. You're still basically going on with physical comedy, so that should really be taken into account. She played to her strength by choosing this character specifically. The problem with Olivia is that we know that she cannot really act. How do we know that? Well, do you remember episode 4? And we made this chart. The queens who were the most underexposed were Elliott and Olivia. We saw almost nothing of them in rehearsal, but we know because we compared that Olivia delivered her lines more than once, which means she received feedback. We didn't get to see it, but we know that she received it.
Misery, is that you? Misery, is that you?
Olivia, you are sweet, you are nice, you are all of these things, but you cannot act at all. The moment Olivia stops the mime thing and delivers her line, it goes completely downhill.
Bossy Rosé, this is exactly what I needed. I don't need you anymore, Mother. I can live free.
It's absolutely out of character, it's unconvincing, and she is lucky that Utica didn't really push to get the mime, because otherwise Olivia would have been in the bottom. All the story is told through the cutaways of queens reacting to Olivia, smiling to Olivia. How many times it happens? Only for Olivia's part, it happened 8 times. And it doesn't really end with Olivia, because Utica got a lot of cutaways, and they were all negative, all setting the mood for the way we should react to Utica's acting. And it looked messy, but then again, it was edited, so did she really look that messy? Also, her character was not characterized very well. Her sole role was to be there and be the catalyst for Olivia to start speaking, and that's it. That's the whole characterization. So she was really thrown under the bus. In total, this group received 14 cutaways. 14. They are literally telling you the way you should react to whatever you're seeing. It's like the producers believe that we're all brain dead. We cannot judge for ourselves, so we need the cutaways to tell us how we should react, you know? Now you need to laugh, now you need to cringe. It's really over the top. It was so bad. Next couple, Kandy and Symone. Kandy's characters was really bad. Why was it so bad? Well, for me, because after 12 regular season and 5 all-star season, we know that whenever there is an acting challenge, you have to bring comedy. It's about having a laugh. It's about going over the top. You're a drag queen. It's Drag Race. We've been repeated this over and over and over and over again. The problem is with Kandy that it was just toned down. And that's it. And for me, it didn't pay off at all, because this is not theater, this is Drag Race. This is what we are used to see, and this is what we are expecting to see. But Kandy is on a roll for a redempted villain edit, so she has to look good at any cost. Kandy gets into the scene, it's like 3 seconds, and immediately we are welcomed by a cutaway of people laughing. And I'm asking myself, laughing over what? She basically just walked in.
What a backyard.
Hi.
What poor person lives here?
Welcome to my home.
And if that wasn't enough, it's not even a minute. Seriously, count the time. And we're hit with a confessional. If a cutaway of queens laughing is going to leave a specific impression on you, it's going to be even more powerful if the queens are actually talking. And it's even going to be stronger if they do it in a confessional, because confessionals are those intimate moments in which we have a direct connection with the queen who is speaking, an intimate connection. So we are hit for the first time by a confessional from Gottmik praising Kandy. The problem is, it's a mishmash confessional. For God's sake.
Kandy's risk of not being so over the top is working.
So that they could make it look like Gottmik is saying, oh my god, she took a risk and it paid off. It totally paid off. It doesn't matter that we took a confessional from like 3 episodes ago, but it's working. This is just ridiculous. Not even a minute in, and we are hit with this. It's not just any cutaway, it's a confessional cutaway that is telling us, ooh, it's working. No, it's not working. It's not fucking working at all. Kandy is sinking completely. I don't know what she was supposed to be playing. What is it, like a Paris Hilton kind of character? I don't know, but it didn't work. It wasn't funny. There was no characterization. It felt dragged on. She only played it one note. In a way, I wanted her to go further with it, because it's RuPaul's Drag Race. You cannot be too big. During this whole challenge, she was just overshadowed by Symone, in my opinion. It should be a give and take. And that's what really makes a scene work. And you have to be over the top and insane with this kind of comedy. Now, if my opinion sounded familiar, it's because I just read you the critiques from the Bossy Rosé show from season 10.
And your performance in Bossy Rosé, you only played one note.
I just wanted you to go further with it. You can't be too big.
It just was overshadowed by Dr. Jill. It should be give and take. That's what makes the scene work.
You have to be over the top and insane with this kind of comedy.
I get it that they want to give Kandy her redemption, but good God, come on, this is surreal. Am I the only one that think that all of this is completely surreal? The fact that they have the audacity to think that they can pull all of these things together and everybody will just go along with it. This is why sometimes I really get aggravated with the producers of the show. Are you trying to let everybody over the age of 14 tap away from the show? What's going on here? It's bullshit. It's a huge load of bullshit. The positive note in all of this is Symone. I absolutely loved Symone in all of this. I thought that the accidental vag flash was the best. I don't know why it makes me laugh so much. For me, you know, accidental vag flash, okay, you get me. You get me 100%. I'm already in the mood. This is a progressive message for the ladies. When in doubt, always flash the veg. Always. Signing a mortgage? Flash the veg. Do you need to calculate the tip? Flash the veg. Is the fridge not working? Well, you guessed it. Flash the veg. I can guarantee you it will significantly improve your quality of life. Just flash the veg. And overall, all this performance from Symone was really, really good. I don't know why she was so worried about it. Because, you know, when she did that part about the accidental prostitution, she did so good. But of course, we knew that she can act. When you have a character like Symone as your partner, you don't have to be overshadowed. She absolutely overshadowed Kandy and made her look even worse, if that is possible. The only problem that I had with Symone's performance was that they cut away to some self-confessionals from Symone. Symone was traveling in time for this cutaway. I don't get why they did this, because Symone did incredible. Maybe she had some bad parts and they cut them away, but what was the need? It was such an odd choice to me. And the thing that I told you before, do you remember when we were talking about the fact that they had a script that wasn't really a script, it was more of a characterization. But we have this moment, we had one with the candles already, and we have this moment with the microphones, so they had props already. We have Ross, who is prompting this singing thing. So this joke had to be already implemented in the script. I don't know what else was written in the script. The only thing that I can tell you is that this performance received 15 cutaways. Next couple, we have Tina and Elliott. Now, this is another example of a story told by cutaways. We have a total of 12 cutaways from this sketch as well. Tina, for me, she was really good. She was over the top. She did exactly what she was supposed to be doing. And we knew that Tina would kind of kill this performance. Elliott was okay, could have been better, but for me, Elliott wasn't as bad as Kandy, for example. She was basically at the same level as Lala. The problem is with these two queens that their script looked like it was kind of an afterthought. There is no characterization there. You have these two people who are secretly in love and they used to work for NASA. And that's it. They don't have any kind of props. It looks like they don't have any kind of jokes that are set up for them. It really looked like, you know, they were like, oh god, we have two more queens. Okay, let's write something really quick and just give it to them. It looks to me like they were kind of thrown under the bus. Because let's not forget, even though they were paired randomly, the producers are still the one who assigned the roles. Where Symone and Kandy got a very good script with very well characterized characters, what Tina and Elliott got was basically nothing. They had nothing to work with. So based on that, they already did a great job for me. Because they were given nothing. Nothing at all. Let's go to the chart, because of course I built a chart. You know that I cannot make this show if I don't make charts. This is a chart show. How did I build this chart? For every time a performance gets a cutaway, I counted the time for each cutaway. If it's just a reaction shot, I counted the normal time. If it's a cutaway of queens laughing for 2 seconds, then I counted 2 seconds. If the queens are speaking, I counted the time twice, because the impact of queens giving us their judgment is, for me, twice as impactful as just showing them laughing or not laughing. If the queens were shown in a confessional, then I counted that as a triple time, because not only they're telling us what we should think, they are also doing it in a setting in which there is an established connection with us, which is the confessional. And this is what we ended up with. The whole editing for this challenge was this bad. When you look at this chart and then consider who the judges decided to be on the top and the bottom, you can see that it's absolutely consistent. Now, runway outfits. For me, these outfits were all great. The only problem that I have is with Symone. Symone is stunning. You know, she has $1 million walk on that runway. The problem is that contestants have been told time and time and time again, don't bring the same silhouette all of the time. Don't bring the same outfits all of the time. Do you remember Miss Vanjie? That she was told time and time again, oh, it's just a bodysuit, it's a bodysuit, it's a bodysuit again. Well, Symone is always a two-piece, and she's not getting critiqued for this. Now, good outfits. For me, Kandy, Lala, and Gottmik look good. They did their part. All in all, I liked it. The only problem that I had is with Gottmik's outfit. We've seen this theme of latex and beads coming from the head a little bit too much already. We saw a hint of it with Miss Vanjie, we saw it with Latrice, and now we see it again with Gottmik. It's been done already. Do you remember the theme of plastic surgery? Do you remember season 7 and Miss Fame when she was said, oh, we have seen this before? Many times. It's getting old. So this is the same critique that I had from Gottmik. Nevertheless, she was safe. But I would have liked a little bit more honesty from our distinguished panel of judges. Now, Olivia's outfit, for me, it was just okay. It didn't read beads to me. It looked kind of cheap, but, you know, it was okay. All in all, it was okay. Didn't warrant a win on this outfit at all for me. Now, some of you might have clocked the wig. Whose wig is that? Is that Kandy's wig that was given to Olivia, or it was Olivia's wig and she gave it to Kandy during the challenge? Well, none of the two is the correct answer. If you look at the beads, you can realize that some of the beads on Kandy's wig are translucent. Olivia's beads are all opaque. And a lot of people said, oh, she copied Symone and now she copied Kandy's. No. All of these things have been packed way before they got on Drag Race. So they really had no way to know. I read Olivia a little bit on this episode, but let's be honest with this one. This was not a switcheroo or somebody copying somebody else. It's just an unfortunate coincidence. Tina was, it was just horrible for me. I didn't get this at all. It made, what is she supposed to be? A kind of an iteration of Pennywise the Clown? I really didn't like this. The color matching was terrible. I didn't like the fabric. It didn't really read beads to me. The wig, it's ugh. Yeah, she's like, you know, in this episode, she's like, oh, I followed the judge's advice and they told me bigger hair. And I'm thinking, no, Tina, don't follow their advice. They're not there to give you an advice that you can use to improve yourself. They're giving you advices to carry on storylines. Don't follow them. Good God, don't follow them. Poor Tina. Let's move on to our distinguished panel of judges, shall we? Now, you know, we live in a difficult time. We are in a pandemic, we are on lockdown, the economy is in shambles, we have global warming, if you know what I mean. So, you know, it's nice to have some stability in life. It's nice that I can always count on our distinguished panel of judges week after week after week to deliver a huge load of bullshit to justify the storyline every week. It's like every week. It's like clockwork. They just tell you whatever they need to tell you to justify that you need to be pushed up or to be pushed down. The problem that I have with this judging is that this was a group challenge, and not any kind of group challenge. It was an improv group challenge, so you really have to work back to back with your scene partner, but they are judged individually. Why does it happen? Well, you know the answer already. You know, when this moment came, we stopped the video, we looked at each other and said, Denali, you are safe. And of course, Denali is safe. And this is Denali's and Rosé's face. I think that their faces are telling the whole story. We don't need to comment on this. Look at them. Then we have Kandy and Symone on top for some reason. Well, we know why they were on top. Because Symone did a fantastic job and Kandy, she has to have her redemption at it. And Olivia wins, but not before being bitch-faced 3 times. 3 times by Utica. So you know something is going on there. They are kind of suggesting that some sort of drama is going to be happening between Utica and Olivia. If there really going to be any kind of drama, it's going to be probably the mildest drama we'll ever get on the show. Because Olivia is Olivia and Utica is really one of the most chill and sweet queens on this season. The tea is going to be frozen on this one. I'm not expecting anything from it. The problem that I had, again, with Olivia, she was praised for doing a good job in a role that was more difficult than anybody else. And then I have a question. Then why the hell, during the disc commentary, these 2 queens weren't praised for the fact that apart from dancing, apart from synchronizing with each other, they were also asked to roll a hula hoop on their arm, which is an added difficulty. If anything, they were read to filth because they were concentrating while doing all of this together. So you see, the double standard is absolutely real. They really think that we don't even remember things from the episode before. This is crazy to me. So we move on to Lala's critique. And they tell Lala, well, you know, you had a tear on your suit and we have to be looking at all of these little things because we cannot stop looking at them. And so I'm asking, okay, well, where were you when Kandy came on the runway with hot glue smeared all over her outfit? But of course, Kandy was told nothing, while Lala was read to filth because she had a little bit of an accident with her bodysuit. Lala did not belong in the bottom this episode. You can decide for yourself out of all the other groups which kind of groups you think should have been in the bottom. But one thing I can tell you for sure, if they judge them as groups, Lala should have not been there. Point blank. And that's it. One thing that I noticed in Untucked is that we have this moment where Denali completely lost it. Why did she lose it? Well, because 2/3 of Rolaska talks were not even letting her talk. Look at Denali's outfit. You can see that she invested a ton of money on her wardrobe. She is doing great for me. Everybody can see that Denali is basically killing it, but she's been jammed. So she reached a point where she basically said, what the hell? Not only I get to get shit on the main stage, I also have to get shit in Untucked. So she removes herself from the situation. And immediately after that, Rosé comes and they have a little bit of a talk. And you know what I think about this too? I think that they had an understanding that, listen, they are absolutely trying to trigger us time and time and time again. Let's not give them what they want. No matter what happens, let's not give them what they want. Now, another thing that we have in Untucked is Kandy's positive moments. She has not 1, but 2 redemption moments in this Untucked. This Untucked is almost 100% about Kandy. So she has her moment with Lala, where she tries to encourage her, even though at this point even they know that Lala is basically going home. But she's trying to do her best to kind of cheer her up, and the same with Elliott. Out of all of them, the same with Elliott. Do you remember when I told you in the speculations, well, Elliott is the only obstacle to Kandy's redemption? Edit, God, I fucked it up, that prediction, didn't I? Now it's time for the speculations, and as usual, this is your possible spoiler alert. For those of you who are leaving, if you like our videos, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, or even throw us a tip on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on Sunday for the live stream. So let's move on to the speculation for this episode and the confessional chart. As you can see, we have Tina, Kandy, Symone, and Elliott, who had a ton of development during this episode. They had a ton of time during the confessionals. Tina continues to rise to the bottom, even in this episode. In the speculation that we did last episode, we thought that she was going to have a fight with Elliott, and God, did we miss the mark on that. But the problem is, she has continuously and constantly negative confessionals. So what the hell is going on with Tina? I don't understand it. Either she's being continuously pushed down, which I don't think, or she's going to have a fight with someone. Otherwise, because they're really going for the long run with Tina. What are they preparing us for? I have no idea who she could possibly have a fight with. Maybe with Denali? I don't know, guys. I really don't understand the edits for this season. It's a complete mess. Now, Kandy is doing absolutely incredible. This episode, redemption arc, is basically complete. So I don't know what they could possibly be doing with Kandy, because let's not forget, Kandy looks like has a really paper thin skin. So I am kind of worried that they went through all this arc with Kandy, where she was a villain and then she got her redemption, only to have her snap again in a future episode, which wouldn't be surprising because, as you know, this season is all about shock value. So will she snap again? Well, probably. Probably she will snap again and she will be redempted again. But we'll have to see about that. But one thing is for sure. The editors went above and beyond to inflate her character, both in a negative and in a positive way. It's so much going on with Kandy, to the point where this really cements my idea that they might be pushing her to the top 4 as a redempted villain. Now, Symone, she is our hero. She is top 4 for sure. She had a second humanizing moment. Her performance is constantly praised. She was never clocked for bringing the same silhouette, the same dresses. She teleported during confessionals. There is just so much to elevate Symone's edit that for me, I repeat this at every speculation that we do, but for me there is absolutely no doubt. She is in the top 4. I would even say she is like the top 2. Moving on, we have Elliott. Now, Elliott had a great episode. Finally, she had a humanizing moment. She had kind of a mini redemption where she got to come out, explain herself a little bit. Of course, we know that the producers knew all of this because when you sign the contract, you're also signing away access to your medical record. So they know exactly which kind of past you have. And judging by the fact that she said that she was suffering from depression since she was 13 years old, she was probably treated already multiple times. I don't know if she's on prescriptions or something, but if she is or she ever was, then this was in her medical records. She had a great episode. She came off as really human, this is the important thing, especially with everything that's going on social media with Elliott, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. With this episode, her storyline is kind of closed, and I don't see them possibly stretching it to carry her any way further at all. Olivia is strange because last episode we speculated that Olivia might be the redemption queen of the season, like Heidi was from season 12. But Olivia won another challenge. So let's take all that speculation, throw it down the drain, because at this point she has been pushed so much that for me she is a candidate for a top 4, not for a 5th or 6th position with a redemption edit, because she's been pushed so much. Now, Utica, as you know, for me she was a candidate for the top 4 like since day one. The problem is that they are really pushing her to the bottom, even when she doesn't really deserve it. There is so much going on with Utica, and she is a seamstress. She makes all of her dresses, so I don't know why doesn't she really get at least the recognition for being very talented in one of the basic skills for a drag queen? I don't know what's going on with Utica. If she will have a kind of underdog edit, she needs to win a challenge and she needs to win it really fast. If she will ever rise, it needs to happen like right now. And that would justify the fact that she was pushed in the bottom so much to give a huge contrast for her rising. It would completely work, but it needs to happen like next episode already. Gottmik safely disappeared from this episode. We saw almost nothing of Gottmik apart from that confessional where she was saying that Kandy completely sold her acting. And maybe it's a good thing because, you know, Gottmik, she is our young and talented and fashion forward queen pushed to the top 4. Now, Denali and Rosé. I wish they would stop baiting them. It's getting exhausting. It's so much. It's every single episode is baiting Denali and baiting Rosé. And I cannot imagine how it felt for them. Because if it's exhausting for me to watch, imagine how it was on them. What's going on with Denali? For me, everything that I said, the speculations for last episode, stand again. I don't think she has any chance to ever go to the top 4. Her headed has been compromised too much. At this point, last speculation, I told you maybe Rosé had a shot of the top 4. At this point, I'm not so convinced. If she has to rise, the same that I said for Utica is valid for Rosé. It needs to happen really, really quick. Possibly next episode, which is a rusical, and we all know that she's a singer, we all know that she is in a group with Jen, and we all know what happened during the rusical for last season to Jen. But if that doesn't happen, then let's prepare for the worst, because she's going to get out really soon. If the baiting didn't work, if she didn't become the villain she was cast to be, and she is not rising to the occasion, then she's going to get out. Now, who is going home? Elliott still had something going on. We were expecting her to have a fight with Tina. That didn't happen. Her headed went on a full redemption arc. The problem is that now she got her redemption. She got a ton of positive confessionals. She got her moment with Tina. And her headed is really coming to a close. And when you look back to everything that happened with Elliott, she was in the top once. Then other than that, she was either safe or on the bottom. And that's not a winner edit at all. So for me, she is the best candidate to go home next episode. Who else could go home? Well, in a way, I kind of wish that Denali would go home next episode, because it's really getting too much. I wonder if they will go as far as simply sending her home next episode and get it over with, before she snaps. Will she go home? I don't think so, but I would wish so, because it's been enough. And all in all, everybody fell in love with her. She did exactly what she was supposed to do. It doesn't matter if she doesn't win. She's going to have an amazing career after this. We all saw the talent. Tina, it's another possible candidate to go home, but they put so much work on her headed that something has to happen with Tina. I don't know what it is, but all her headed until this moment is telling me that something is going to happen. I don't think she has any reasonable chance to get to the top 4, because all the chances that they have to make Tina rise, they passed on, like with Denali. They passed on time and time again, and she had a ton of negative confessionals. Her headed overall was nothing to gag about. Utica also is on a downward spiral. I don't think she's going to go home next episode, mostly because I don't want to think it, and I still think that there is a good chance for her to go on a rising role. Most of all, Utica didn't have a humanizing moment. And at this point in this competition, if you didn't have a humanizing moment, you are not really supposed to go home yet. And of the queens that I mentioned, the only one that had this kind of moment were Tina and Elliott. If we did the math right, so it's going to be either Elliott or Tina. But if they are going for full-on shock value, then it's going to be Denali or Utica. So I know I'm basically nominating half of the queens here, but you know, unfortunately this season is the way it is and our predictions are completely fucked. Completely destroyed. So I have no idea what they are doing and why they're doing it. So I'm giving you possible explanations for why things happen the way they're happening. But we'll have to see about that. We'll really have to see about that. I don't think they're going to go for shock value, mostly because of the humanizing moments. And that was it for this episode. As usual, a special thanks to our patrons for supporting the channel, and I will see you next time.